Hey friends, it's been raining a lot and my plants are so happy. I want to go check on my squash plants. I haven't checked on them for a few days because last time I did, kind of the roots of some of my vines were rotting, and it was really disappointing to see a lot of squash bugs taking over. And I sort of just kind of harvested one squash and left one to grow, and we'll see what we have. Maybe I will find a squash ready to pick. Maybe I will find everything rotten. Let's go check it out. Isn't my garden so beautiful? I love it. Let's go around the house. Oh, these are new. These are solar lights. They light up at night. Kind of help us see a little bit. Okay, I see that my plant is still alive for now. Okay, I see some rotting that's happened. Yep, some of it's rotted. Some of it's still alive. Some of it's new. Okay, well, interesting. See all of this? Some squash bugs totally ruined this. So let's see how that's grown out. See, this is dead. This right here is dead. And we'll just put this in the trash. This root right here. Okay, see, this is still alive. So this isn't fully dead. It's just rotten, but it's still alive. So I'm not gonna mess with it. Same with this. This has a rotten root, but it's still alive. So I'm not gonna pull it, because if it could get me some more squash, I'll take it, you know. This is my squash that I wanted to check. I'm gonna think about whether I want to harvest it now or wait. There's a bunch of dead in here I want to pull. Okay, so that's interesting. Oh, this squash is growing on a dead vine. Okay, so I have to harvest it. I have no other choice. Squash, a winter spaghetti squash. I harvested one. I'm planning on cooking them together in a video soon. I'm gonna set it up here. Let's see what else we have here. This is dying, but I tried to pull it up and I realized it still wants to live, so I'm gonna let it do what it wants to do, see if it produces anything. Let's check over here what's going on over here. Okay, this is a new little squash plant starting up right here, so we'll see if it chooses to produce anything. This right here is the beginning of a squash plant, but it's got some ants on it. So I'm encouraged, but not holding my breath. Oh, the flower part has ants all over it. I'm gonna pull the flower off, squash the ants, and see what happens. These flowers over here are kind of hidden by the grass, but they've got some male and female blossoms. Oops, that fell off, my bad. Some blossoms over here. So I've got alive mixed in with dead here. See, this is a living vine that I don't want to pull because it's got living parts, but it's got dead parts that I want to pull off of it so that the vine has more of a chance. These plants do better. Oh, see, these are the offenders. This bug right here is what is boring into my, see right here? They reproduce, they lay their eggs on the underside of this is all dead because of those bugs. All of that's dead. And look, this was the beginning of a squash. Oh wow. Those bugs did it. Luckily, I'm not seeing this totally overrun by bugs, which I practically expected since I left it alone. There's another bug. There's another one. So maybe I'm wrong about it not being overrun. the reason why I chose to plant my squash away from the rest of my garden is because I was forewarned about squash bugs, and I made the decision to have my squash plants over here and the rest of my garden on the other side of that fence, so that these squash bugs would not just take over my whole harvest. Because I figured if I'm gonna have bugs, you know, attracted by my lovely squash plant wants to attract all the bugs, then I don't want to have all my plants by it, because you know, I can just cut my losses with one plant and not have to worry about the whole crop. Surprisingly, I'm encouraged to see that my squash plant is still thriving, even though there are parts I have to throw away. And I have my little squash that I can cook later. Moving around to see what's happening. This is how much water we've gotten. This is my strawberry patch. Some of them, I'm not sure whether these strawberries are going to make it, but these strawberries are going to multiply, and you know, in a few months time, or maybe a year, this whole area will be filled up with strawberries, because strawberries are awesome at multiplying, and strawberries live through the winter. Now tomatoes, on the other hand, these buckets that I filled up yesterday, and I independently put, you know, stakes in each one, I quickly saw that they were falling over because of the wind and the rain. So I tied them together at the top. That will mean a little bit less sunlight getting to some of the inside parts, but it's worth it because they're not falling over. My current plan actually is that these are outgrowing their buckets, I think, especially the smaller buckets and the bigger plants. So my potato area, which is run over with a ton of grass too. It's grass and potatoes. After I harvest my potatoes, I will be planting these tomato plants into the ground where the potatoes are. This is my watermelon plant. I started it from seed in a container not too long ago, like a week or so ago. It outgrew quickly its container that I thought it would forever live in. It outgrew it, and I decided to put it in the ground. I also got some orange bell pepper plants from Facebook Marketplace from a gardener in my city, and I bought a basil plant at the grocery store. It was in the produce section. They were selling basil plants, and people say that basil plants grow really well, I think year round. I don't know. Oh, wonderful to see, wonderful to see. Let me go around to the other side so I can show you better and get a better look myself. Okay, this is green bean. This looks so messy. I just dumped this over yesterday. It's messy. I've got some dead plants here. These are dead plants. That is a green bean plant that'll eventually be in the ground. These are carrots that are sitting in the container. Oops, I need to tie up my blackberry plant is falling over. I need to tie it. This is a blackberry plant that's doing very well. This is a blackberry plant that's doing fine. These are blueberry plants that I just moved over yesterday. 3 of them. Oopsie daisy. It's trying to hide. There we go. It's better. Okay. The sky is getting dark. Wow. Let's look closer at this. This is amazing. This is starting to develop some buds that will soon be, hopefully, some eggplant. These are eggplants. One cauliflower died, another cauliflower not doing well, one cauliflower doing well compared to the other cauliflowers. The other one died. So I'm super excited about this. My girls, oh, it's trying to get over here. This is a, oops, I accidentally broke a stem there, but my girls started these marigolds. These are 2 different containers of marigolds, started from seed by my girls, and they outgrew their containers. So I put them in the ground where I moved some strawberries from. This is a pepper plant. That's a pepper plant. These pepper plants are exciting. They were getting distressed in their containers, so I put them in the ground, and they are growing. Can you see that? That's amazing. Peppers. These are bell pepper plants. So this one's supposed to be red bell pepper. That one's yellow bell pepper. This one is a mystery. We'll find out. It's got a little green. They all start off green. Side of green bell pepper beginning to grow. Okay, these love the rain. These wilt so bad. Look, you saw that huge gust of wind? Because these plants are growing outside, those huge gusts of wind actually allow them to get stronger and make their stems stronger over time. When you grow from seed inside, your plants don't have that extra strength. So it's good to have a fan on them, or at least bring them outside sometimes to help harden the plant. That's called hardening. So you see how this has a nice thick stem? That's because it has grown up in the wind, and in order to survive, it has had to get strong. Now, I used to have blueberry plants over here. I moved them to here because, as you can see, my cantaloupe plant is branching out all over. This lemon balm plant was for a long time in a small container. I got it on Facebook Marketplace from a gardener, and I decided, you know, the lemon balm leaves, I don't know a lot about them, so you can tell me in the comments, but lemon balm is good for tea, I think. It's an herb. Anyway, I just wanted to buy something new and interesting I'd never tried before. Obviously, all of this I've never tried before, but have some variety. This year is my year of experimenting and finding out what works for me in my garden. I have a cantaloupe I'm looking for. Oh, here it is. Look at that cantaloupe that's growing. That's massive. And these two cantaloupes are doing very well too. Look at that one. This one, very exciting. So, because all my plants are at different stages of life, that's the one we already saw. Because my plants are at all different stages of life, I'm getting harvests at different times. So some will finish harvesting now and some later. You see how this plant is inside of a small container. It would probably be producing and growing much more if its roots were not so inhibited by the small container. And so I moved some of these small container plants right here into the ground, and already they're growing bigger and flourishing more, and their tomatoes are bigger, and it's amazing. And so these plants are telling me, hey, what about us? Don't forget about us. So I need to build some boxes like this and put them in the ground. These tomatoes similarly are telling me, hey, you got to dump some more dirt in our pots or something. But they're very thankful for the rain. They're very thankful that I tied them because a lot of the stems were falling over. I tied them using yarn loosely. You don't want to use anything metal or tie them too tightly because that'll cut into the stem and it'll eventually break off. Also, leaving it to grow on its own without anything to lean on, these branches, some of them were bending and about ready to snap off, and some of them had tomatoes on them. So these tomato plants, they need support. That's why a lot of people buy expensive tomato cages. I'm cheap, so I'm trying a different way, which is the bamboo poles. I bought this on Facebook Marketplace from someone. I got a ton of bamboo poles, and I now officially am using all of the bamboo poles that I bought. All in all, I'm really excited about how my garden's doing. I want to look at the potatoes real quick. I was looking online to see when are you supposed to harvest potatoes. It says that they're supposed to flower and then start to wilt right before you are supposed to harvest them. Honestly, my instinct is I just want to cut all this grass and just dig up any potatoes possible and just put my tomatoes in this area. I'm so tired of this eyesore. It's so difficult for me to try to weed this at this point. I just want to take a weed eater to it. If you've ever grown potatoes, tell me in the comments. Can I harvest yet? I don't know. Raindrops keep falling on my head. It's a beautiful morning. My plants are so happy for the rain. I went and tied that blackberry plant that needed tied, and that's it. I don't have to water anything. I don't have to prune anything. I did all the moving and shaking yesterday, and now with this rain, it can just, we're supposed to have 4 days straight of rain, and it's just gonna flourish. And the rain is so saturating, it's awesome. And since the weather's like 80-degree weather, with which my plants, when it gets hot, they complain and they wilt and they start to kill off their leaves to survive. And when it gets, you know, too cold, they die from frost. But around 80 degrees, all these fruit and vegetable plants are so happy. And when it rains and it's 80 degrees, even better. Thanks for checking out my garden with me. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye!